Coley here with the Texan Sports Minute with Texan Associate Head Basketball Coach Reisman. Coach Reisman, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for bringing me over.
Absolutely. Coach, you've been here for 14 seasons as part of the coaching staff,
Right.
17 seasons altogether.
Right.
9 as the Associate Head Coach. Kind of elaborate on your time here a little bit. I know you are familiar with our athletic director and your
Right,
head coach
obviously.
a little bit, so explain how it's been here.
It's been a great experience, growing up watching Tarleton State University play. Always had a passion for Tarleton athletics, especially the basketball team, and being able to play under Coach Reisman obviously was just a blessing. And through that time with him, realized my passion was really to go into coaching. I actually started as a pre-med major, got my degree in pre-med and pre-dental, and that 5th year when I was kind of shadowing, just kind of figured out my passion was to stay around the basketball program. Coach gave me an opportunity, and I got the chance to work under some great assistant coaches, and paid my dues and got elevated through the program, and have just had a tremendous run here at Tarleton State with Coach Reisman, and so I've enjoyed it, and it's been great for myself.
All right, now Thursday night against TCU, you guys have an exhibition opener.
Right.
How is it that you kind of schedule something like that between the Big 12 and a school like Tarleton?
Well, it doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while, some of these Division I schools, that they're just like us, they're trying to get ready for the upcoming season. Sometimes you don't want to play a Division I opponent in an exhibition. At our level, same thing. You don't really exhibition a lot of Division IIs, so you give an opportunity to some of these local schools. And so Baylor's done it in the past, Texas A&M's done it in the past, and so every once in a while you get this opportunity, and we're looking forward to it because we're going to get a chance to see a lot of things about our team. What we need to work on. Weaknesses, strengths, player personnel, who plays well together, who's still developing chemistry. And so anytime you can play a Big 12 level caliber competition, it gives you a lot of good film, a lot of things to work on when you get back to the practice floor. And so we're looking forward to the challenge, and I know TCU is going to have a great team, and they're going to give us a lot to work on.
All right, and the couple of preseason polls that have been released so far, Tarleton's been ranked 10th and 15th. So how do you keep your team level-headed going into the season and keep, kind of an underdog mentality
Right.
that, they need to try real hard in every single game?
I think, the first thing that we tell them is a lot of these polls are based on how you finished last year. And a lot of it has to do with the tradition of the program. And so you can't go out there thinking that you're carrying over last season's success. And, we had a very experienced team last year. We had 4 starters returning. We had a lot of players that had played in the national tournament, that had played big minutes to win the Lone Star Conference Championship the year before that. This year, we have a lot of returners, but we also have a lot of new players that are going to be instrumental for us. And so this is a completely different team. I think what we've tried to explain to them, that ranking has only put a big bullseye, a big target on their back. And so now they have to be ready to get everybody's best shot from the beginning. And that's an adjustment, especially for some of these transfers and these freshmen that are coming out of high school programs where that may have not have been the case night in and night out. So just really getting them ready expectation-wise is what we've been trying to do, talking to them in practices and in film sessions.
Now, you mentioned preseason polls are based on what you did last year. Last year coming off of an
Right.
LSC championship. Talk a little bit about how it is to play a team 4 times in a season. You get these guys, Midwestern State, you beat them
Right.
in the championship, you think you're done with them, and then you get matched up with them in the tournament. I mean, explain that, how that worked out for y'all.
It's difficult. At the Division I level, it's a lot different because they send you all over the country to play your first 2 or 3 rounds, so you're playing different opponents. But the D2 level is a little bit different. That's maybe one of the fallacies of the national tournament, is that if they're in your region and they're going to go to the national tournament, they could be from your conference. And so I think the way that we looked at it was this. We tried to tell our guys, in the NBA, you may have to play somebody 7 times. You got to beat them 4 times. You don't see them really complaining. You don't see San Antonio Spurs complaining about playing Miami Heat, how many times they got to play them. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to be mentally tough. If you have to play somebody, whether it's 3 or 4 times in one season or 5 times in one season, that's part of the process. And so I think that was one thing with our team last year is, like you said, we had just beat a team in the Lone Star Conference Championship game and having to play them a week later. Sometimes you're not as excited, but at the same time, they're in your way to move to the next round, to advance in the national tournament. And so you've got to look at it in a different light. And I think that was one thing that maybe our teams in the past have not done, and we've talked about that, is if you got to be mentally tough, and whoever's in front of you, they're in your way to get to the next round, and that's just the way it falls sometimes, and you got to play.
Now, we mentioned also preseason favorites for the LSC.
Right.
The only other team in LSC to catch any first place votes was Midwestern State.
Right.
So the rivalry is still strong. What are you guys looking to accomplish this season?
Well, I think for us right now is getting better one day at a time. One thing that we talked about last season that we thought was something that we have to improve is that we peaked possibly too early. There were times when you go 18-0 and you don't lose till February 5th or 7th. it's easy to get complacent. And I thought last year's team started off with a bang. We had a lot of returners, we had a lot of chemistry, and I think at times we stopped improving late in the year, and that'll come back to bite you, especially in tournament time. And so we want to get better a day at a time. We don't put up goals about winning the Lone Star Conference or going to the national tournament or winning 20-plus games. We have expectations to get better every day, and we think if we get better every day, it'll put us in position to achieve long-term goals in our program.
Now, you mentioned you got some starters coming back. We also have some new players, some transfers and stuff like that. You want to talk about who's really surprised you this offseason and who you're real excited to get some playing time out there for the Texans?
Well, I think people, starting with the guys that are coming back, Michael Harge obviously played behind a Division II All-American and Chuck guy the last 2 years, and there's many times in practice that he held his own and looked good, and maybe at times looked better. And I think, a lot of people were going to be surprised and impressed with how he's going to be able to run this team this year. We got a lot of high expectations for Mike. He was a kid that was recruited by a lot of Division I schools at a high school and chose Tarleton State, and we feel like we got a D1 caliber player in Michael Harge. Muhammad Lee's very, very talented. He's still adjusting to his new role with this year's team. Last year, he came off the bench and he came in and was very aggressive and did things very well for us. He was a JUCO All-American and, at times could change the complexion of a game. And now he's learning, what pressure feels like. Now he's got a lot of pressure put on him, and it's something that he's got to adjust to. Devin Carter started every game for us last year, was first team all defense, averaged almost 10.6 rebounds a game. He's been with us for going on his 4th year. He knows what to expect. He's an amazing athlete, but now we're counting him for more of a leadership role, whereas in the past, he was, the only junior in that starting lineup. And so, you're looking at guys like him and Damian Clemens and Jakob Domster who have been a part of this program, but now their roles have changed. In terms of the new guys coming back, we have a lot of new talent. I like Tevin Jones from University of Virginia, who played in the ACC for 2 years as a freshman, started a lot of games at that level. I don't think that he is going to be intimidated by any type of level of competition he's going to see in the Lone Star Conference. You have E.J. Reed from LIU Brooklyn, who's 6'6", 220, that comes into that power forward spot. He's very versatile. He actually led a Division I mid-major program in scoring and rebounding, so that he's capable. But then again, he's adjusting to our system, our style, and our terminology. And so there's going to be some bumps in the road, but we like what he's been able to bring in practice. Malcolm Hamilton out of Moberly is a very athletic. He's a big wing. I think as he continues to understand our system and the way that we do things, I think he's going to be an excellent player for us. Robert Lee he's been hampered by a little bit of injuries in the preseason and early practices, but he's coming on strong, and he's learning our system, and he's adjusting to high-level basketball at this level instead of junior college. And we have a couple freshmen that I think are some sleepers that I think you're going to see get quality minutes as freshmen for us, and I like where they're at right now. And so our biggest deal right now is going to be the chemistry in our program. We had great chemistry early last year. That's something that we're going to have to develop with this team, because even though we have 10 lettermen back, they're playing with different roles and with different people, and so that's going to be a big adjustment for us early.
Now, as we mentioned at the beginning, you've been here 17 seasons,
yeah.
So as a player and coach, what are some of the differences? I mean, we sit in a brand new building.
Right, obviously.
What are some of the differences you've seen around campus and just the basketball program and the university overall in your time here?
Well, the enrollment obviously has more than doubled. It was around 5,000 or 6,000 students when I started here as a student athlete. I think that we've always had a great level of support from the community, but in my time here, the student support has grown by leaps and bounds, and it's gotten better every year. And we have a tremendous campus and tremendous departments that really are promoting right now, student spirit groups, organizations that have gotten bigger in the time that I've been here. The level of competition obviously has improved, and people obviously, they want to come and watch good basketball games and good athletes. And I tell a lot of people when I recruit this, the Lone Star Conference is almost like a Division I level basketball league. I think in the last 3 or 4 years, we've had 30 Division I transfers in our league, and they're coming from mid-major and some high-major conferences. And so when you get the opportunity to see players of that caliber compete night in and night out, and it doesn't hurt that last year 3 teams in our league were in the top 25. At one time, 4 teams were receiving votes in the top 25. I mean, this is one of the toughest Division II conferences in the country at this level. And if you can compete well in this conference, you're going to put yourself in position to play in the NCAA tournament. And so I think that's what I've seen change, is just gone from the support, but also the caliber of play, and just how many teams are actually competitive in the Lone Star Conference, having a chance to win a game every night.
All right, Coach. Well, I wish you good luck on the season, and I really do look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow night at TCU. It's I enjoy basketball a lot as a sport, and I loved last year. You talked about when y'all were really clicking. You guys were blowing some teams out and putting some Sports Center highlights on. So I look forward to some of that this season.
Well, we appreciate it. You know, we play at Wilkerson Grounds Activity Center tomorrow night. It's free admission, so we're hoping that all of our alumni and all of our former players and fans that are up in that Metroplex area can come up and support us. And so we're looking forward to, you know, having a great atmosphere, a great environment, but more than anything, learning and getting better.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank
Coach.
you. Appreciate it.